it was a miss on the numbers and a miss on sentiment. I would say it was a trifecta of doom from Tesla. Tell me the other side of the trade.
Yeah, certainly. I think people were expecting them, to miss. They had some production cuts for upgrades. But I think what the investor base is really missing is this is actually a part of a giant pivot towards become a supplier to other OEMs and eventually licensing FSD. Initially they said they were going to have all these volumes, selling 20 million cars, these sorts of things. I think we're noticing the company changing the narrative towards maybe not making as many cars, but now pivoting towards selling charging infrastructure, power electronics, batteries, and then, yes, FSD and autonomy. That's the real moneymaker anyway. We think investors are kind of missing the forest for the trees here.
That's really interesting, Tom, because, even here in the UK, if I do a road trip with an electric car, the supercharging stations are so much more efficient. And then you have the other ones where you have these long, long lines. So it's clear that there is demand for that kind of thing. But then what does Tesla look like? Take me 10 years down the road for this company. Are we talking about a completely different beast?
I think so. Absolutely. It's interesting. You posited the Netflix example before, how it's trading today. If you remember, Netflix in 2011 to 2013 went through a very difficult transition and shifting from DVD rentals towards streaming. And it was painful, but then it wound up being wildly successful. I think something similar is afoot here with Tesla, from selling cars to now becoming a supplier to OEMs, which honestly is far more profitable. We just saw BMW announce yesterday they're joining Tesla's supercharger network in North America. They said previously they'd never do this. Tesla's really starting to become the place where OEMs have to go to for all of these things: batteries, power electronics, charging, and then we think ultimately FSD.
What would that do to valuation? I'm looking back here on a 5-year chart. $412 is where it is. Why not say to the market, actually, I'm going to carve out this auto production unit and I'm going to have a I am a tech manufacturing supply chain company. With that hives off what is a car company and gives you a tech company. Does that re-engineer the value quicker to $305? Would his ego let him do that? That's the question that goes in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of need the cars as a proof of concept, right? To see FSD, to see the technology firsthand. So it's really a proof of concept today. But if you look at my 305 price target, only 10% of that is cars, actually. I have, 70% of it is robotaxi and 20% of it is just FSD itself. So this is a completely different future for this company. You need the car as the proof of concept. As far as separating these businesses out, maybe that happens in the future. But really what they need to do is show that take rate of FSD, how profitable it could be, and then in the future, the robotaxi promise. That's ultimately what he talked a lot about in the call last night. And I think that's really ultimately going to solve this whole jigsaw puzzle.
Well, just hold that thought, because your valuation is 10% cost. I got to ask Danny Berger, would you get into a robo-taxi? Which city have you been in that you get into a robo-taxi? Because I tell you what, I've just come from Dubai. I wouldn't get into a robo-taxi in Dubai. Would you get into a robo-taxi, Danny Berger?
I would go into a robo-taxi if it's one of those things that people talked about, like you go in and it's a spa, there's a masseuse there, or a gym or something like that. One of those I would certainly do. Tom, come on, is that the future that we're talking about? Am I going to be able to, get my hair done on my way to work?
Well, I don't have hair done, but you'll definitely be a living room, an office, entertainment, a bedroom.
Do you know what you're saying? Do you know what you're saying? No. Do you know what you're selling? You're selling that advert for the A380 that they put out before Emirates bought them. And there was going to be swimming pools in the sky. I mean, Emirates business class is lovely. But can I ask you, the one thing that I was fascinated about is the robot. I'm going to need one of these in later life. Now, I think this is the thing. It's going to be able to do yoga, apparently, next year, the robot. What portion of robotics, on a slightly more serious valuation note, will robotics play in this company?
I mean, today, I'm not giving any credit for it right now. I think that's a call option to the future. That's an Elon project currently, but Elon projects in the past have wound up being wildly profitable. So today, I don't include it in my valuation, but Don't underestimate the robotaxi thesis. That is a very real thing. It's 100% happening, I think. It's going to happen before you know it, too.
I've just got to build my trust
I mean, it
factor.
seems... So, Manus, would you take a yoga class from a robot if you won't get in the taxi?
Listen, I'm struggling with Pilates and yoga as it stands, so don't be worrying about the robots telling me how to find my inner chi.
I love it. I mean, it doesn't seem relaxing at all, a bot telling me to do downward dog. Anyway, Tom, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining RBC's Tom Naranyan there.